You're listening to From Our Lens, a podcast for photographers and brides where we dive into all things weddings.
Whether you're a pro behind the lens or a bride-to-be, we've got you covered.
Join in on the conversation and take it from the gals who have been to a wedding or two.
Grab your camera or your wedding planner and tune in for our hot wedding takes. Let's focus on your forever. Hello, we are back again.
Hi.
How's it going, Jordan?
I'm doing great.
We are back with our series of
Different parts of your
wedding. Yeah.
We're kind of at the end now and we're talking about receptions and all things dinner and dance and the party afterwards, which is kind of where all the fun, wedding days are always fun.
Sure. But the grand finale.
The fun part where everybody can starts to let loose. And
totally. So I guess we can kind of start with, usually photographers will go in hopefully before too many people have sat down to get those detail shots.
Sometimes it's hard because usually we're with you taking pictures right before you arrive to your dinner.
Yeah.
But I think both of us, we try and get there and we quickly before anything starts to happen, try and go to each table and not each table, but all the table scapes, get all the little details, all your little decorations, because when your guests arrive, everyone starts to sit down, they mess the tables up, which is what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, for sure.
But obviously that's not very photogenic.
Yeah, totally. And it's nice to have those shots, but sometimes it's hard. We don't always have the way the timeline works. It doesn't always work for us to go in before. Yeah. And because we're still doing portraits or, whatever we're doing. 1 second, Lola wants to join in. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, our first guest.
Miss Lola. She won't miss out on anything. Okay, where were we?
I think it's hard sometimes to get those shots. I think for those big grandiose weddings that you see where it's all the crazy table settings and stuff, they do make a point of I don't know if trying to set it up before so that the photographer can get pictures of it.
And if you're at the venue, sometimes you can go and if everything's in the same place, you can sneak out before the ceremony or, before people go in there. That's really nice. But sometimes everything isn't set up then. So
it's not possible.
Again, trying to figure out a time if
that's important
if it's important to you to have those reception detail shots, make sure you set a time for your photographer, because there's nothing we can do if there's stuff all over the tables and people are sitting down. We won't get those perfect, but some people don't care about those shots.
No, and as much as I do try, when I get there, I try and find the cleanest table that no one sat down at yet. And then maybe if someone already has sat down, but they put their bag down, I'll move it just down onto the ground, put it back once I'm done. I do try, but there's only so much you can do to take pictures when there's people in there. And then even with doing that, there's always going to be maybe people in the background just getting drinks. And I mean, really,
it's part of it.
It's
right?
part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something that you want, make a point of trying to get it. Yeah. But I think let's just realize that it's not always going to happen to be
totally.
Those, when you see those perfect table pictures from Pinterest and the perfect reception tablescape photos, realistically, a lot of those are usually either a styled shoot, and that's why no one's in the photos. Yeah. Or it's they had a huge wedding planner. They made a point of
getting those shots, and
probably
it's for vendors and it's really those photos. Maybe if you did it yourself, but all the decorations and the tablescapes, all that stuff. But people really, maybe you'll put it in your album or you'll send it to vendors. But it's not. If that's something that you don't have time for in your timeline, then it's, in my opinion, maybe not the end of the world. But yeah,
I think what's more important about the dinner is taking photos of people having fun and enjoying your celebration
for sure
with you. Yeah. That's what it's all about. It's not really about as much as we love the pretty tables and we love everything looking beautiful.
Totally.
I think it's more about everyone hanging out.
Oh yeah, I definitely
that's what we love.
Yeah. So I guess the first thing that really happens when you arrive at the wedding is the grand entrance. Mm-hmm. And these are always so interesting to shoot because there's usually not a lot of communication and people are coming in from different ways. And then when you come in, everyone stands up. So it's they can be so funny and chaotic to shoot because it's trying, and yeah, you might get one good shot from it, but it's always
You know what I love? Like, I know it's very common to have your MC introduce your whole bridal party and say, oh, this is Jordan.
Yeah.
This is Sarah.
For sure.
This is Jane. Like, right? I've seen this a few times. It's my little hot take maybe of this episode. We're starting off with the hot takes, like right off the hop.
Love it.
But like, I have seen people do where the bridal party will run in all together and they don't individually address them. And then they don't sit down right away. They're on the dance floor.
Oh, cute.
They kind of like party up on the dance floor. And then the bride and groom come in, join them on the dance floor, and they all party together, and then they go sit down.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that because really, why are we spending so much time saying, this is Jordan Connerow.
Well, because usually they do that with the bridal party introductions too. Like sometimes they do that.
But I think like really like... I don't know.
Is
it necessary? As much as I love it, it is fun because everyone gets their little moment in their dress. They get to do their like fun little dance or like whatever you do.
For sure.
But I like having them not just like immediately sit down. Like I've seen where they all like run out together. They're on the dance floor and then they're like, and now introducing Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and they come running out and they join their friends on the dance floor. They like dance to Mamma Mia or like whatever it is, and then they all go sit down and it's like a moment.
Yeah,
and that. I feel like would be a whole lot less chaotic than what actually happens most of the time.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. And it's the moment for the bride and groom.
Yeah. And then it's hard sometimes too because like they're squishing between tables and it's like it's one of those things that you shoot it, but it's funny. But yeah. And then I guess like this is a hot take. Head tables. Yeah. They are, I think, kind of fading out.
Well, we've seen a lot,
which I like, and it's a tradition, right?
We've seen a lot of. I've seen not a lot of because I think people still do the head table because you think you have to.
Yeah, and it's part of a wedding,
but I love it when people decide to have like a sweetheart table, which is just them two, and then their bridal parties sit at other tables.
Oh yeah,
and then it's just the bride and groom in the front.
That's cute.
I love that.
Yeah, and I like it when they just do a normal table because sometimes I feel like. When the bridal party is up there, they look so uncomfortable. They can only talk to the person to their right or to their left. And like, I just feel like it's awkward. And like, especially if you're up on a stage, people are watching you eat. Like, it's a good way to get good photos for us because they're all up there and you can get their reactions during speeches. Yeah. But I think like they would enjoy it so much more if they just had a normal table.
Yeah, I think so too.
But it's a tradition. Again, and they've always done that. And
nothing wrong with
But
it.
I think you can also just do a head table that's just a table. And then you can get, like, you can have conversations while you're eating. And it's not as...
I did a wedding and they did, it's kind of like farmhouse style. So it's a regular table. But they did, like, a square, I guess. So there was table, and then it was empty in the middle. And then everybody was, like, looking at each other, kind of.
Yeah.
And that was just for the bridal party.
Yeah.
And the rest of families were just farm style.
Cool.
So just straight.
Yeah.
But they could see everybody like around. It's like a circle.
And then everyone's not staring at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really, I liked that.
Oh, that is
They had
cool.
a great time. Everybody was so like.
It's different.
I love it.
Yeah. No, I really like that. Yeah. It's something that like, just kind of think about like, do I want this? Do I feel like this is my vibe?
Another thing that I feel like is so important to a reception is, and I've also talked about this a little bit in the other episodes, but finding a good MC is very important. It kind of really is one of those things that does like, and it will set the tone of like the night.
Yeah, for sure. Completely set the tone for
because
the night.
And usually people for their MC, like they'll just pick like someone that's outgoing in their family or their friend group.
Totally.
I think you definitely shouldn't just pick someone just on the whim. Yeah. Like I think you kind of want to pick somebody that's going to be able to read the room.
And that is, you need to pick someone that's good with public speaking and is comfortable. Because not everyone is comfortable in front of people. It kind of goes along with your officiant, right? We had that conversation in the ceremony episode. It's fun if it's someone special, but it should be someone who's like comfortable because it's going to show.
Listen, you want them to tell stories. Yeah. You want them to have fun up there. Like I think really you want to pick someone who's going to be honored that you picked them.
Totally.
Like if someone made me their MC, I would have such a fun time. Yeah. It would be so good. But and then also it has to be somebody that I think knows both of you.
Yeah, definitely.
together.
You'd want that,
right? Think, you want to be telling stories from both sides of the family, and
also you want someone who is able to take charge of what's happening. They have to say, we're closing the bar in 5 minutes, get your drink, sit down.
That's true.
Because, you know, like when people are visiting and drinking and having fun, it can be hard sometimes, especially receptions are notorious for being behind.
You also
there's like the timeline just goes out the window when receptions come around.
You also want to think about somebody that is not going to get too carried away. Find someone that you trust. Find someone that you know is not going to embarrass you. Because I think that's another thing too.
Yeah, sometimes people, like I've been to weddings where the MC or whoever's doing speeches, like the stories are just offside and the grandma's sitting there like, did he just say that? Mm-hmm. Like, what? And like, that's traumatizing.
See, for your just maybe grandma. Just have someone you can have a conversation with that's going to respect what you want. Maybe you want those crazy offside jokes. That's
if that's
fine.
what you want, then yeah, totally.
That's fine.
Yeah. Just maybe make sure grandma, or if grandma's into that, maybe you never know.
That's a
totally.
thing.
And then that kind of like fades into speeches. Like speeches, I love speeches, especially when I'm doing video. Like I am sitting there like so into it because I will use those speeches in my videos, but they can be so good or they can be so not good.
We're not trying to.
I'm not trying to be rude, but
we're not trying to like dig anyone's grave.
No, definitely not. But some people are just so uncomfortable, and you can like feel their like nerves and their not even embarrassment, I guess, but like you can just tell, and it kind of goes to picking. I understand. I don't think this was always the case, but now the speeches go like parents of the groom, parents of the bride, best man, maid of honor.
Yeah, and I guess that could be another hot take too. It's like, do you really need to make those people your speech people, or do you want to pick somebody that is going to give you a good speech, regardless of regardless of on who it is in the wedding?
Because what it used to be was like my mom said at her wedding, what they did was they did the welcome to the family, and I'm pretty sure her brothers did it. I don't think her mom and dad did it. And then her toast to the bride, because it used to be, I think, the toast to the bride and not necessarily like the maid of honor speech. So her aunt did the toast to the bride, and like, just pick someone that's comfortable, because if someone's not comfortable, that's all they think about all day.
And that knows you. Yeah. Like, you don't want someone going up there to say a speech when they like really don't know anything about you.
Yeah. No. And like, if they're not someone who does speeches, even if they are someone that is into public speaking, you still think about it all day.
Yeah.
It totally changes the whole like landscape of your wedding.
Yeah.
So I think that is super important to make sure that that person is actually comfortable in front of people.
Yeah, like really, like I don't know, and like honestly, I think it is again another little spicy take. It's like your brides. I know that there's some bridesmaids that get so offended if like they aren't picked for maid of honor when they thought they would have been, or like let's just say you decide not to have your brides or your maid of honor do your speech, or your best man do your speech, and you're like, no, like I'd actually like my uncle to do my speech for me, like I think as a bridesmaid or as a groomsman. Like, really, is it the end of the day if they don't want you to do the speech?
Yeah,
like they are still important.
You
to them.
have so many other jobs as a best man or maid of honor.
Like, obviously, you're still very important to them because you're their best man, or you're their bridesmaid, or you're their maid of honor. Like, I don't know why. Like, I just want us to kind of like stop the like annoyance and like.
It has to be this way.
It has to be this way.
Especially, I think that's so true. And there's other ways you can do it. Like I've seen people do videos or like pre-recorded things, or like they bring up other people so it's not as scary. And like I had one wedding where I can't remember if it was 10 groomsmen, 10 bridesmaids, or 8 and 8, but every single person did a speech.
Oh my
And they
Lord.
were supposed to do like quick little 2-minute speeches, but everyone did it as like a full speech. And it took so long. That's another thing. Really time out your time of how long you're going to do speeches for. Because they can go on and on and on.
Also, you don't want to be listening to speeches. As much as you love speeches, you don't want to be listening to speeches for an hour.
Well, because people are sitting there like, and some people care about speeches, but some people you can just tell are like, speeches, like especially men. I think girls are really into the speeches because they can be sentimental and beautiful, blah blah blah. But I think the guys kind of like.
I think there's more value in like a 5-minute speech.
Yes.
Than
keep a short
20-minute speech.
100%.
Because you're going to remember the 5-minute speech and the 20-minute speech. You're going to remember 5 minutes of the 20-minute speech.
And do you really need to say all of the stories of them as a kid? And
listen,
blah,
save
blah,
that
blah.
for save that for girls' night when you guys are having a good time and sharing stories. You don't need to do it on the wedding day.
No.
It's still important regardless of when you guys tell that
totally
story,
with
right?
you on that. Yeah.
Like, yeah, just
short and sweet.
Just be mindful.
That's the main takeaway from that.
Okay, on to my favorite thing about receptions is supper.
Photographer's highlight of the day.
Honestly.
We love it.
I just wanted to bring it up because obviously like supper isn't like something that like is the most important thing of your day. It's like a meal,
totally.
like, right? But I wanted to remind people that I think people, again, they get caught up in the fact that, oh, you just got to have roast beef and mashed potatoes for supper.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to remind people that you don't have to do that.
No, definitely not.
I've seen like someone did tacos at a wedding.
Cute.
From a food truck. It was really cute.
Oh my goodness, I love that. I want tacos at my wedding.
Yeah, at my wedding, whenever that happens. But whenever I get married, I have decided since I was like a child.
Yeah.
I'm having pizza. Like,
yes, that's so cute.
Not like just panago. Like I want to get like artisanal pizza, like on the little platters. Yeah. Just because it's just like, I love pizza.
Yeah, totally.
It's personal.
Yeah.
And also like, it's just a fun way to like give your wedding like reception a little bit of personality.
A little character.
Yeah, people will remember that you had pizza.
Totally.
Even though it's just dinner.
Yeah.
Like it's just something that you can, and also too, it's your wedding. You should be eating what you want.
Eat your favorite food.
Eat your favorite food.
Totally.
Like even if that's not just dinner, but it's desserts.
Yeah.
It's like something different.
For sure.
I think
I love when people do something different.
Yeah.
And every weekend we're eating roast beef. And which is like honestly, it's honestly such a good meal. Like we cannot complain, but it's like, oh, something different.
You know what my favorite wedding dinner was?
What? Breakfast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was from the best breakfast place in town. I loved it. But she had like eggs benny.
Oh, yum.
French toast. She had a platter of like fresh fruit. Oh God. And like coffee.
Like so good, probably.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah,
and like that's the thing.
bet.
Your pals, your friends, and your family
Yeah.
will never forget that.
For sure.
I don't know. They'll always be like, oh, that dinner you had, breakfast for dinner,
so
good.
Yeah, totally. And on that topic, this is a hot thing. And honestly, 95% of people know this. But feed your vendors.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I think it's just like, I don't want to say it's like it's disrespectful to not, but like they're with you all day. They're starving. We don't get to eat all day.
Well, even like aside from that, because yes, like we do deserve to eat.
Yeah,
supper.
totally.
We deserve a break.
Yeah.
It's like the first break we get
It
in
is.
the entire day.
Yeah.
If you think about
and when
that.
we're working for 10.
It's a 10-hour day.
Yeah.
But also like even just not thinking about that, but just thinking about the fact that when your guests and yourself are eating dinner, do you want pictures of that?
Yeah, what are we going to do pictures of?
So let's hypothetically say we don't eat supper, okay?
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do during that hour?
Are we going to leave and have potential of like being late or something to go
Missing
get supper?
something?
Yeah.
Like we're not going to take pictures of your tables because everyone's sitting at the tables eating.
You want pictures of people's mouths open?
No one's dancing.
No.
Everyone's mouths are open.
Yeah.
Really, it is very like a lull part of the day. So if you think about it, like, is it really necessary?
Yeah.
No.
And you need to recharge the batteries of your vendors.
Your
and
vendor's going to do so much better if they have a chance to sit down and breathe and have a Red Bull, which is what I always do.
Yeah. And even like not just photographers, but like the DJs. I don't really know who else is there for vendors at that point. Maybe your wedding planner. Everyone like make sure that they have a spot to eat too. Like it doesn't have to even be with everyone, but like make sure they have something.
Yeah.
I think it's just so kind if people like, and honestly, everyone pretty much does that. I've had a couple weddings where they forgot to write us down or whatever.
And that's an honest mistake.
No,
really.
honestly.
Like,
but it's just, if ever you were wondering, oh, do we feed our vendors? Yes. Please do.
Please
do. Otherwise, we're going to
us.
be fading fast because once that time hits where it's like after portraits, we always have this crash.
Well, think about yourself at working whatever job you have. And you don't get a break all day.
No.
How?
And as photographers, we're on our feet. We're like orchestrating people, and we're like, you have to be on when you're shooting because you're looking like for moments, you're always like, your brain is moving a million miles a minute. And we are just, and it's not like, it's different for us to have a 10-hour wedding day working at our computers. A wedding is like, they call it like the wedding photo hangover. Yeah. You're drained the next day. Yeah. You're so exhausted.
Like also too, I always try like, I try and tell my couples this before the wedding even happens. But I always say like, hey, by the way, like I'm not going to wait for my name, like for my table to be called wherever you have me seated. Yeah. I usually will eat when you guys eat, like the bride and groom and the bridal party, which is usually the first people to eat. Because I want to be done eating by the time you're done eating, so that if there is any moments that happen, I'm not missing it. Like I have my cameras ready after that point, so I'm ready when you're ready. Like let's just say I'm sitting at table 10.
Yeah. What's that?
It's just my Facebook group chat. Oh. Let's just say I'm sitting at table 10. Yeah. And table 10 doesn't get called for half an hour, which is what can happen, right?
Oh, for sure.
And then by the time I'm going to eat, you guys are done. And then now you're hugging grandma in the corner. Exactly. And I could have taken that picture.
Or wanting photos. Like sometimes that's when brides will go and like get you to do photos with people. You want to be done eating as soon as possible. And then when you're the last one, I've had weddings where we're literally the last ones eating. We're shoving food in our mouths trying to eat. And like we get called up and then we have cold food.
The most heartbreaking thing that's ever happened to me.
What?
Is I was shooting a wedding and they did like beer pong. Okay, it's kind of funny. But they did beer pong tournament to kind of decide what tables went and ate.
Okay.
So like each table would go up, they'd play. If you win, you go eat. Yeah. It was very fun.
Yeah.
But we were like halfway through. So I got my food, whatever. And then I was taking pictures of people playing beer pong, right? Because that's like a moment you want to take pictures of. And then I come back for my food because I only had I would be like eating one bite and then I would have to go and take pictures again, eating one more bite. Came back and my food was gone because they thought I was done.
Oh no.
And I didn't get to finish eating. Kate, and it was so heartbreaking.
Sad. I would probably cry. Because
I had lots of dessert instead, but like
eat your supper as desserts. And that also kind of happens. There's that new trend of everyone goes up and they pick tables by like you go up and you get your picture with the bride and groom. You kind of talk and then you go get your food. Have you seen that?
I know, but I like that.
It's fun. But the thing is, the poor bride and groom are standing up there like they're Disney characters. Like everyone's coming up for their autograph, and their picture, and then they don't really get to eat. And like we're up there.
Oh, I don't like that.
Standing.
Yeah, they need to eat.
Getting pictures of.
They also haven't ate all day.
No, they haven't. And so then, like, I guess it's nice, but like they're eating, we're eating.
Yeah, if it all happens at the same time, and literally,
but just you have to make sure you have that time set aside after.
Yeah.
So that you have time to eat. Like they have to plan that.
I always say like, no, I'm not trying to just like cut the line. I promise you.
There's a reason for it.
There's a reason why I'm coming to eat with you.
Sometimes I get dirty looks doing that.
Well, that's the thing. The guests are kind of like,
why are you eating?
I would like to eat. And why are you eating? Like you're the hired help.
One time I
was at that wedding. The story you're going to say. Yeah.
This lady was like, why do the photographers get to go first?
Yeah.
And she was so like, salty that we went up.
Like, I'm sorry, but ma'am, you've been at a wedding all day having fun and I've been working all day.
Yeah, we have to get back to work. Like it's not like we're
I know. I was like,
around.
Hey, like I'm not just like having, like I am having a great time, but I am working. Like
no,
I
totally.
promise you.
I think that's a big one is like,
just respect.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
And then I guess like, part of, I don't know how to bring this in.
What is it?
Cake cutting.
Okay. Well,
or do you want to talk about things planned, cigar bar, tattoos?
Well, I was going to say, let's bring up cake cutting because it's tradition. And we can say, instead of doing that, you could do these other things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but this is more like having things going on that are different. Okay. Like people have photo booths, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
So another thing that like is very, very common, because I think it's, again, one of those traditions that everyone just feels like they have to do.
Yeah.
Is cake cutting. Mm-hmm. And another, like, I mean, maybe we can talk about these all together. Yeah. But cake cutting, the garter toss.
First dances.
And the bouquet toss. First dances, maybe, I don't know if they fit. Like, I mean, well, they are a tradition.
Well, they are a tradition, yeah.
But let's break it down.
Yeah.
Cake cutting first.
Yeah.
So.
Why? Why do we do this?
Yeah.
Well, what's it mean? What's it
Listen,
do?
I love, it's a cute little moment.
Oh yeah, totally.
But so many people are like, I've been to lots of weddings. Oops. I just glitched again. I've been to lots of weddings where they literally like forget to cut the cake.
Oh yeah, they do.
And they're like,
and nobody eats it.
No one really cares. I mean, if cake's like something really important and you guys are like a dessert family and like you love it, like make a point of it. But like also don't feel like you have to do it.
No, exactly.
I don't think it's necessary.
No. And there's other things that you can do. Like you could do champagne towers. You can do
cupcakes,
donut walls. Like I've seen, candy bars. We love candy bars.
Oh, yeah. That's like photographer's crack on a wedding day. Okay, stop. I'm not a crack addict, I promise, but I'm a
God. That's so funny.
Okay, but it is also, it's like a sugar rush. It gives
Yeah.
me that little bit of energy after like the dinner.
Totally.
Because after you eat dinner, you're like starting to go down.
You need a little pick me up.
That's why I always have a Red Bull.
But I guess like what we figured out, we were looking this up. The reason for cake cutting is like, isn't it a tradition about fertility or something?
Yes.
And they're cutting the cake to share it with their people, with their loved ones, because they're showing that they're giving themselves to each other or something. I don't really know. There's like a tradition behind it, and nobody really, I didn't know that. I just kind of thought that that's what you do. And people, I think, just kind of think that.
Yeah.
So, and then with the bouquet toss and the garter toss, like
those as well.
That, it's like a very old tradition. And it kind of like, it was a little weird when we, the reasoning behind why.
Wasn't it like
it was like a Victorian times and
back in the 1800s or whatever, like they would
try and steal the bride's
garter or like her sheets after they've consummated the marriage. Like,
people want to steal her before the groom can take her off or something. I don't know. It was interesting. So
look it up yourself if you actually want to know.
That'll make you. I think that they're fun and
Listen, I think if you love that idea, feel free.
Yeah, totally.
But I think though, like again, it's one of those things that I think people just think you have to do.
Yes.
But if you don't want to and you have no inclination to want to do either of those things, then like do not do it.
But it's really, that's one of the things that is fading out more than others, I would say.
Yeah, I would say.
Is the garter toss. Like I feel like the bouquet toss is still quite common, but I don't see many garter tosses.
No, I don't.
Or
either.
if they do, it's like later in the night and we're gone anyways.
Yeah.
And that's
but that's totally like again, if you feel like you don't need to do that, there is nothing saying you have to.
For sure.
Like just think about it.
Totally. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Let's talk about
how to engage your dance floor.
Let's talk
with
about
the DJ?
Things happening. Like the other things you can do to actually no, let's leave that for the end. Things to spice it up.
We're at half an hour, so I feel like we're doing good.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about your dance floor. Or what?
Okay, I think we should for sure, because we've kind of, what we have left is how to engage your dance floor, which kind of goes into DJ. And then we should talk about the location.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Which one do you want to, you start?
I think we should talk about the dance floor. Arguably the most fun of the whole day.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Everyone's letting loose.
Yeah.
But I think there's two types of weddings in this world. I feel like where I'm going with this. There's the weddings that are a big party crowd and everyone's having a good time. Everyone's on the dance floor. Everyone's dancers. And then there's the weddings where no one wants to dance.
Yeah, and it's empty.
And no one's on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Which could also be changing too. Like I think the dance floor gets more popular as the night goes on.
Yes.
But there's definitely like either one or the other, I think.
And it's funny when we're there and we're there for dance coverage and no one's on the dance floor and we're just standing there like,
well, listen, you can only take pictures of one or two people dancing for the like how many pictures would you like?
You're
of
gonna
the
have
same
a billion
two people, right? If they're the only ones on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously like candid photos we can take of people chatting, but again, there's only so much you can take until it's like, okay, like,
and
I
like, are you really
going to
use those pictures as
they're
much?
fun memories if stuff is actually happening.
But that's the thing, if nothing's going on, it's like
I think your DJ is a big part of this
for like
getting your dance floor pumping.
The reason, and that's why also bands are so cool, because I think bands automatically draw people to the dance floor.
People love a band.
Yes, so cool.
Live music is just something that people will gravitate towards. Totally. So like obviously not everybody can afford a live band, but if that's something you think is cool, definitely look into it. I think it's such a like funky way to like spice up your dinner.
Especially if you're a person that's into music and stuff too. But your DJ can really determine your reception.
Well, like I've talked about this in other episodes too, but like if you guys are like very like boho vibe, you're not necessarily going to want to be living it up to Pitbull all night.
Yeah, no.
You're going to be maybe more of like a different scene.
And DJs like really, they need to read the room and figure out like, oh, every time I play a country song, people are coming up and two-stepping.
Yeah.
You know? Or, oh, they love Pink. I don't know.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, I think it's important of your DJ to have some consultations with you a little bit.
For sure. And figure out what's going to work.
And figure out what you want. I mean, I've been to lots of weddings where they're like, yeah, like we told them we wanted like old school rock and they're playing country. And they're like, we don't like country.
No, it wrecks the whole vibe.
And really, it's your wedding. So I would be really upset if I did not get to listen. Like, I'm a very big, I mean, you know this, but like I'm a music gal. Like it's not that like I'm not like picky, I guess, about my music, but I think the music, depending on what you're doing, should fit the vibe of what you're doing. Like I have 600 playlists for all my different things that I do because I think it's important to like match the energy of whatever you're trying to do.
For sure.
So think about that.
And then like the DJs have ways, and like I always love to go up to the DJ and say, can you put on, like call the bridal party to the dance floor and like make them do something, because then we're making the most of our time.
Usually I do that like 5 minutes before I leave.
Yeah, exactly.
I go up because especially if no one's on the dance floor, I'll say, hey DJ, can you turn on a banger? Like we need everybody on the dance floor. Can you call them
and
up?
They can actually go on the mic and say bride and groom to the dance floor. And then because it's awkward when you're about to leave and you want those pictures on the dance floor and the bride and groom are off talking to all their family, whatever. And if the DJ just announces it, you don't have to go interrupt their conversation and look like, you know.
Listen, I remember one I did well, not last year, but the year before, maybe it was last year. I can't remember. But I was like, hey, Callie, like I'm almost done. Is there anything else you want? And she's like, no, just like dance pictures. And I'm like, okay, like your dance floor is not wild right now. Do you mind if I go ask your DJ to like make an announcement or change a song or put something on? And she's like, oh my God, yeah, go talk to him. So I go. And I'm like, there was a song I played during the bridal party portraits.
And everyone loved it?
You're going to laugh at what song it is.
What song?
So I turned on You Came to Party.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like, if you know it, it's very explicit. It is what it is. But it's a party song.
And they liked it.
And we were like having a blast. Aww. So I go up to the DJ and I had read the room at this point. Like they were a pretty fun, like they were not like conservative. Like that song wouldn't offend anybody.
Yeah, totally.
So I go up to the DJ and I'm like, hey, like, can you play this song? We really want the bridal party on the dance floor. Yeah. Like Callie said, it's fine. Can you make an announcement? And he looks at me, he looks that song up. He's like, you know what this is? Like what song this is, right? I'm like, yes, I know what song this is. He's like, Grandma's over there. And I'm like, Grandma can come yell at me, like blame it all on me, DJ. Yeah. It's fine. And he's
we
like,
need them on the dance
floor.
He
looks at me. He's like, okay, if Grandma comes to get me, I am pointing her in your direction. So funny. So then they turn that song on. Yeah. The dance floor went nuts.
Aw,
and
that's
like,
so funny.
I think this is the one that you went and pulled pictures from.
Oh,
it's from like, so it was a lit, and everyone's like losing their mind.
That's so
Grandma's
fun.
on the dance floor. Like, she doesn't care.
She probably doesn't listen to the words.
No, she's just, like, she's watching everyone dance. Yeah. So now she's like, oh, I'm going to dance. There was kids in the dance floor. They also probably were not listening to the words, hopefully.
No. People just feel the energy in there. And, like, most songs that
if
are,
I
like,
didn't do that, though, if we didn't kind of make it happen, we wouldn't have got those pictures.
True. Yeah.
And they, like, that moment probably would have happened, but it would have happened an hour, and I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, totally.
So it's, I think,
no, that's such a good point.
Like, it's obviously like not a candid. It's still candid because you make the moment happen. Yeah. But sometimes I think there isn't anything wrong with like prompting that to happen.
Totally.
Especially if that's
when
what
you're in the timeline and you're about to leave. And,
especially if that's what the bride wants.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I'll do it for you.
No, for sure. I love that. Yeah. And one thing that people I think also don't really think about is like different places to have the reception, because that's a hard thing to pick your venue or your hall or your location. And, you know, halls are good. They're affordable. It's just they're not always the prettiest. Mm-hmm. But it's the easiest, right? Because if you have a tent, that's more expensive. You have to find bathrooms. Mm-hmm. You have to, there's so many external things. But I think it's cool if like you can do it in a house or, you know.
We were talking about this yesterday. doing like your dinner reception and like at like a funky brewery.
Yeah, rent to go to
or
brewery.
like at a winery.
Totally.
What else?
Which are obviously
even
more
like a really
expensive
cool
things.
restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is more expensive to like rent out
for sure.
a restaurant, obviously. Yeah. But maybe that's where you guys met, and like that's a more personal touch, and that's like somewhere really cute that you'll always remember you were at. Every time you go to that restaurant for dinner every Sunday, you'll be like, oh, we got married here. Like our dinner was here.
No,
like,
I think it's super cute when people can get or like find different spots for the reception.
Yes, I love it. It's just
and I love
it's
a
more,
tent. I think tents are
those
so
clear
pretty.
tents.
Yeah,
so beautiful.
Ugh.
I'm so obsessed
That's the dream.
with them.
That's the
honestly,
because it's good lighting and it's like cozy and my favorite.
Also, when you have a clear tent or even just a tent, you really feel like more connected to like it kind of like turns your. It's not just a venue anymore. It's like an experience because you can go outside. The trees are there. It's you can feel the wind, feel the air, see the sun.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just like
so
that. It
pretty.
kind of like immerses you into the place you're
I
at.
love, and it just is so pretty. And with halls, like they're not always the nicest color, and you can work with it. You can decorate. It's fine, but yeah, definitely like that. But do you have any other things?
Yeah,
Jordan?
let's talk about some funky things that you can do during your dinner or your reception in general to like spice it up a little bit.
Totally.
I've seen people do cool things like cigar bars. I've seen people do. What else do I have on my little list here?
Tattoos?
I've seen people do a tattoo bar, like flash bar.
What?
Yes, like so those like tiny little flash tattoos
insane.
Where they'll have it like them set up in the corner. Because like it's not obviously this is not for anybody. Like
this would have to be a certain type of wedding.
You definitely have to be into it. I would do it.
Yeah.
Listen, I would love that. I would love
cool.
it.
Yeah.
But like then your guests, they can go into the corner, get like a little heart tattoo.
Could you imagine?
Listen, I've seen it. It's actually really cool.
Yeah.
If that's your vibe. I've seen people do
photo booth. You can do like the cool Kardashian photo booth,
those
like
glam bots.
Yeah, the black. Oh my goodness, those things.
That one's kind of funny. I don't know.
Have you seen that at a wedding?
No, but could you imagine?
I've seen them at events. They're so.
It's kind of funny. I don't know.
Hilarious.
That's maybe like more of extravagant. Yeah. It's kind of a funny thing.
What else are people doing? I don't know. You see games. You see like just different things. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It's kind of hard to, because some things can be cool. Some things can be kind of wild. Like
I think if there's something like personally that you two like love that's unique and like brought you together or whatever, like try and incorporate it in a way that you can.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing wrong with that. It just makes your guests do it
cool.
I think it just makes your guests love it even more.
Yeah, exactly. But that's kind of receptions. Like you can, it's the end of the day. I don't know.
I think it's really, again, like we said, the moral of most of these like chats are like you should be just think about what you would want. Don't be just doing things because you think you have to.
For sure.
You can spice it up and have it in a pizzeria area. Yeah. You can spice it up and have tattoos.
Yeah, totally. Like just kind of do, and with traditions, it's, I don't know, pick and choose. I'm like totally into some and some I would be like, meh, I don't know.
I could do without.
Yeah, totally. You just got to kind of pick and choose.
I think just think about it.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in what you have to do.
Totally. That's kind of the end of our little series, though, unless we...
I don't know. Now we'll have to make a new series.
Miss anything. I know.
No, we talked about it all.
Yeah.
Wow, look at us go.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it and actually like took something from it.
Hope you have your notes written down.
Yeah, totally.
Can't wait to see your tattoo corner.
Yeah, please. I would love that.
At my next wedding.
Yeah.
I will be also getting a tattoo.
Yeah, if there's one there, I'd be down. That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you again
Adios.
next week. Bye.